have you ever paused to wonder, can we truly heal ourselves? I mean, without relying solely on drugs, without invasive surgery, just through, the sheer power of the mind and our own energy? It might sound a bit like science fiction, maybe, but today we're doing a really fascinating deep dive into the insights of some truly visionary thinkers. We're talking about pioneers like Joe Dispenza, Deepak Chopra, Gregg Braden, Peter Crone, Kelly Turner, Marianne Williamson, Michael Beckwith, and Bruce Lipton. And what they reveal, it isn't fantasy. It's more like a compelling blend of cutting-edge science, profound psychology, and, well, timeless spiritual wisdom, all converging on something pretty astonishing about our own capacity for well-being.
And that's really the heart of this deep dive, isn't it? Our goal here is to pull out the most impactful takeaways from all these diverse sources, really helping you understand the immense potential, often untapped, that lies within yourself. We'll explore how these experts, each coming from their own unique angle, connect the fundamental dots between your mind, your body, and, your spirit, all in the context of self-healing. What's really illuminating, I think, is how they all seem to arrive at a similar core truth, even though their paths are quite distinct. It gives us this remarkably full picture of what might genuinely be possible for our health.
That sounds like, honestly, an essential journey for anyone looking to unlock their own healing abilities. So, okay, let's start with Dr. Joe Dispenza. Many of you might know him. He's the neuroscientist who famously healed himself from a really severe spinal injury, basically defying the medical prognosis. His core teaching is incredibly powerful. Our thoughts don't just influence, they literally, create our biology. He often says, and I find this quote so direct, where you place your attention is where you place your energy. Just think about that for a second. The power of pure focus.
Right. And it's more than just a philosophical idea. Dispenza's work really digs into the concrete neurobiological mechanisms behind it. The central idea is that by consciously changing your sort of repetitive thought patterns, you can literally change your body chemistry. It's quite amazing. His research shows how practices like specific visualizations or cultivating coherent heart-brain states, focused meditation, these aren't just about, thinking positive. They're actual tools for breaking these deep-seated emotional habits and physically rewiring your brain and your body towards health. Which brings up a key question, right? How does this internal attention actually translate into the kind of energetic shifts that influence biology? It's really about creating new neural pathways, training your brain to fire differently, which then sends new chemical signals throughout your body, facilitating healing. It's almost like conscious biological programming.
That makes a lot of sense when you put it like that. So for you, the listener, what are the concrete steps Dispenza actually offers to start this rewiring? He suggests spending, just say, 15 minutes daily visualizing your ideal health outcome, really seeing it, feeling it as if it's already real, and also practicing specific breathwork techniques to regulate brainwaves and emotions. But how do these seemingly simple actions actually lead to this profound physical change? It feels like it must be more than just wishing, right?
Oh, absolutely. It's far beyond just wishing. When you consistently visualize, you're not merely imagining, you're neurologically rehearsing a new reality. Your brain, interestingly, doesn't fully distinguish between a really vivid visualization and actual experience, so it starts to form and strengthen the neural connections tied to that desired health outcome. This repeated mental practice literally builds the neurological superhighways for those new physical changes. Breathwork, on the other hand, that's a direct line to shifting your autonomic nervous system, moving it from that stress-induced fight-or-flight mode into a state of coherence, of calm. And in that coherent state, your body diverts energy away from survival mechanisms back towards essential things like repair, regeneration, and healing. It's really about creating the optimal internal environment for your body to do what it's naturally designed to do, heal itself.
Okay, so from the brain's intricate workings, let's broaden our view a bit. Let's look at the more energetic and spiritual side with Deepak Chopra. He's really renowned for his unique way of blending ancient Ayurvedic wisdom with, the cutting-edge ideas from quantum physics. Chopra teaches that we're far more than just our physical bodies. We are, at our core, energy, vibration, and consciousness. He captures this beautifully when he says the body is a process, not a structure. That completely reframes how we see ourselves physically, doesn't it?
It's a huge paradigm shift, truly. The crucial insight from Chopra, I think, is that genuine healing really kicks off when we reconnect to what he calls the field of pure potential. And this isn't just some abstract spiritual idea. He links it to the underlying quantum field, the basic fabric of reality from which everything arises. His premise is that our ability to heal speeds up when we consciously align with this field. And this deep connection, he emphasizes, is nurtured through very accessible practices, cultivating silence, meditating, just living more mindfully. What's captivating here is how this view transforms our understanding of the body away from being a static machine that just breaks down, towards seeing it as this dynamic, constantly evolving process, really influenced by our awareness and our connection to that deeper reality.
Right. So if we are these dynamic processes, what does that actually look like day to day? Chopra offers some very practical but still profound steps. He suggests starting a morning silence ritual, even just for a few minutes, eating what he calls living foods, and using affirmative mantras like, I am whole, I am healed. How can these simple daily habits lead to such, well, deep healing?
Well, the power really lies in their cumulative effect and how they realign us with our natural state. That morning silence ritual, it helps you step back from all the external noise and tune into your inner self, fostering that crucial connection to pure potential. At the deliberate pause, living foods, that's not just about nutrients. It's about taking in vibrant, high-energy nourishment that actively supports the body's natural regeneration rather than, burdening it. And mantras, they're incredibly powerful tools for consciously directing your inner conversation. By repeating, I am whole, I am healed, you're not just saying words, you're actively replacing limiting beliefs and those discordant inner voices with affirmations of wellness. It aligns your mental, emotional, and energetic selves.
Okay, building on that idea of energetic alignment and conscious intention, let's bring in Gregg Braden. He's explored extensively how our emotions can literally change our DNA expression. Braden puts a huge emphasis on what he calls heart-brain coherence. That's a physiological state where your heart rhythms and your brain waves actually synchronize. He captures this powerful idea with his insight. Feel the feeling of the prayer already answered. It's about embodying the outcome, not just thinking about it.
And this is where it gets incredibly tangible, I find. Braden's key insight is that the body responds not just to thought or intention alone, but most profoundly to emotion. He shows how specific feelings like genuine love, deep gratitude, pure compassion, expansive joy can literally shift cellular function, and even how genes express themselves. When our heart and brain get into coherence, you can kind of picture it like your body's internal orchestra suddenly playing in perfect harmony. We create this powerful, measurable electromagnetic field. This field influences our entire biological system, right down to the cells, maybe even the DNA. If we connect this to the bigger picture, this emotional alignment can dramatically boost or maybe even bypass traditional healing pathways because it taps into the fundamental energetic blueprint of who we are. It's like speaking to ourselves in their own language.
That's fascinating. So how do we actively cultivate these really powerful emotional states? Braden offers practical steps like a daily 5-minute gratitude meditation. And using affirmations too, like my cells are listening to love. What is it about these emotional states that makes them so potent? Why aren't they just, a fleeting, nice feeling?
They're potent because they generate distinct, measurable physiological responses in the body. Gratitude, for instance, has been scientifically shown to reduce stress hormones like cortisol and actually boost immune function. When you consciously cultivate these, let's call them high vibration emotions, you're not just thinking about them, you're feeling them through your whole being. This activates specific neural circuits and hormonal releases. This creates a bioenergetic signal that your cells, your tissues, even your genes are basically hardwired to respond to. It's about intentionally steering your internal chemistry and energy field, which directly impacts your body's ability to heal and thrive.
Okay, so from the powerful influence of emotion, let's pivot slightly to the power of the mind itself, specifically how our beliefs shape things with Peter Crone. He's often called the mind architect. Mhm. His core philosophy is really liberating. Our suffering doesn't stem from reality itself, but from our ingrained beliefs about it. He highlights this with a very direct, maybe challenging quote. We can't heal what we're unwilling to feel. It forces us to look inward at our own stories.
It's a really profound shift in perspective. Crone's central idea is that emotional freedom is the direct route to physical freedom. He argues that when we consciously identify and then release the limiting stories we tell ourselves, beliefs like I'm broken or I'm not worthy of healing, we create the essential space for the body's own healing mechanisms to kick in. These deeply ingrained, often subconscious beliefs can actually manifest physically. Think chronic tension, persistent pain, or even perpetuating illness. Which raises an important question. How do these internal narratives, these stories we carry, actually show up in the physical body? Well, they can create a constant state of internal conflict or this chronic low-grade stress, which then impedes the body's natural capacity for repair by diverting vital energy away from it.
Let's break this down a bit more for the listener. Crone's practical methods include things like journaling on recurring emotional patterns and also a powerful self-inquiry, asking yourself, who would I be without this story? How does challenging these internal narratives, which seems purely mental, directly contribute to physical well-being?
Well, while the initial work feels mental, the impact is deeply physical. Journaling is a fantastic tool for bringing subconscious beliefs up into conscious awareness. It lets you observe them instead of being controlled by them. And that question, who would I be without this story? It's designed to create a space, a gap, between you and that limiting belief. This isn't just thinking about it. It immediately starts to release the mental and emotional tension and then subsequently the physical stress that those stories impose on your body. When the mind isn't constantly fighting itself or reliving past traumas through these belief systems, the body can redirect its resources away from that state of constant vigilance and survival and towards healing, regeneration, and growth.
Moving from those internal stories to the real world, sometimes astonishing outcomes. Let's talk about Kelly Turner. Her research is truly groundbreaking, really inspiring. She meticulously studied over 1,500 cases of people who experienced what she called radical remission from terminal illnesses, often after conventional medicine said there was nothing more to be done. And here's her amazing finding. Only 2 of the 9 key healing factors she identified were actually physical, the other 7. Emotional, mental, and spiritual. That's huge, isn't it?
It absolutely is, and it significantly broadens our whole understanding of healing. Turner's crucial insight is that things like belief, love, having a sense of purpose, a strong spiritual connection, these can be even more powerful, or at least equally powerful, as conventional medical treatments. Her research gives us compelling empirical evidence that these non-physical factors play an absolutely critical role in healing, even from really severe, life-threatening conditions. What's truly revolutionary here is how directly this challenges the traditional medical model, which often focuses almost solely on physical interventions. It fundamentally suggests that healing is much broader, more holistic, and deeply personal.
So for someone who might be facing a serious illness, what does this mean practically? Turner's actionable advice includes things like strengthening your spiritual connection, actively finding moments of joy every day, and building a strong social support network. How can these seemingly intangible factors be consciously cultivated, especially when you're right in the middle of a tough health challenge?
Well, these factors, though often underestimated, are incredibly impactful, and you can cultivate them intentionally. Strengthening a spiritual connection could mean many things: prayer, meditation, spending time in nature, connecting with a deeper sense of meaning, whatever works for you. This provides a profound sense of peace and purpose, which directly lowers physiological stress. Actively finding joy daily, that's about consciously looking for moments of lightness, of gratitude, which directly impacts your neurochemistry in positive ways. And a strong social support system, well, that combats isolation, provides emotional resilience, and can even boost immune function. These aren't passive things. They require conscious effort, integrating them into daily life, making them active, vital parts of a healing strategy.
Building on that idea of love and connection, Marianne Williamson brings a really deeply compassionate perspective. She teaches that illness can often be seen as, well, a call for love, both for ourselves and others, suggesting this profound link between our internal emotional state and physical health. She puts it very profoundly. Sickness may be seen as outer manifestation of inner discord.
That's a powerful lens, isn't it? Viewing illness that way shifts our focus from just the symptoms to their underlying energetic roots. Williamson's core teaching is that fundamental healing often happens through the radical acts of forgiveness and self-love. She explains how unresolved internal discord, maybe lingering anger, deep resentment, or just a pervasive lack of self-acceptance, can indeed manifest physically as energetic blockages or chronic stress patterns in the body. When we actively work to resolve this discord through practices of love and forgiveness, we release these energetic burdens, and that facilitates healing. If we connect this to the bigger picture, a conscious shift in our internal emotional landscape can directly impact our physical state by altering body chemistry, energy flow, and our overall vibrational frequency.
So how do we actually put these, well, seemingly simple concepts into practice? Williamson gives very specific suggestions. Writing a letter of forgiveness, maybe to yourself or someone else, and practicing mirror work, looking yourself in the eyes and saying, I deeply love and accept myself. What's the actual mechanism here? How can forgiveness and self-acceptance lead to physical healing? It sounds almost too straightforward.
The simplicity is definitely deceptive because the mechanism is deeply physiological and psychological. Forgiveness, from this viewpoint, isn't about condoning bad actions. It's about releasing the toxic, energetic weight of resentment, anger, bitterness that you carry inside. We know these emotions trigger chronic stress responses in the body, depleting resources. When you genuinely forgive, you lower stress hormones, reduce inflammation, promote relaxation. Similarly, self-love and acceptance, especially through something as direct as mirror work, directly counter those patterns of self-criticism, shame, unworthiness, which can suppress the immune system and block healing. By shifting from an internal state of self-rejection to self-acceptance, you create an inner environment that is just inherently more conducive to your body's natural healing processes.
Okay, now let's bring it right back down to the foundational level, the cellular, with Bruce Lipton. His work in epigenetics has truly revolutionized how we understand biology. He found that our environment and our thoughts, not just our genes, are the primary controllers of gene expression. This means, as he powerfully states, change your thoughts and you change your biology. And the really liberating idea here is that we're not just passive victims of our genetic inheritance. That's a massive shift.
It is truly a game changer for understanding health and our own autonomy. Lipton's central finding is that beliefs literally create biology. He meticulously shows that stress, that fight-or-flight response, actively shuts off healing and growth processes in the body. Conversely, a state of peace, love, perceived safety that turns them on. This has profound implications, right? If our perception of reality, filtered through our beliefs, literally dictates whether our cells are in protection mode, stress, or growth mode, healing, what responsibility does that place on us for our own well-being? It dramatically shifts the control over health from being solely external to being profoundly internal.
So how do we apply this incredible insight in a practical way? Lipton offers concrete things like replacing fear-based media with empowering messages and consciously meditating on states of safety, love, possibility. How does consciously choosing our internal and external environment directly influence our genetic expression and our healing capacity?
It works by directly influencing the cell's perception of its environment. Think of your cells like they have tiny eyes interpreting the world around them, guided by your nervous system and your beliefs. When you're constantly exposed to fear, negativity, threat, whether it's real or just perceived through media, your cells interpret this as a hostile environment. That triggers the stress response, and that response diverts precious energy away from maintenance and repair, essentially putting healing on hold. Conversely, when you deliberately choose empowering information and consciously cultivate positive states like safety and love through meditation, your cells perceive a benevolent, supportive environment. This immediately activates genes linked to growth, repair, and regeneration. It allows the body to dedicate its full resources to healing. It's a direct biological consequence of your inner world.
Finally, let's bring all these powerful threads together with Michael Beckwith. His perspective on healing is incredibly uplifting, very empowering. He says that healing is actually our natural inherent state. He introduces this profound concept that when we align ourselves with a vision for our lives that's much bigger than our current pain or struggle, the body naturally follows. He captures this with a phrase that really resonates. Pain pushes until vision pulls. It's about being drawn forward by purpose, not just driven by past suffering.
What a transformative way to frame the healing journey. Beckwith's core teaching is that purpose itself is a potent healing force. When you cultivate a strong, inspiring vision for your life, something truly meaningful that you're passionately moving towards, it powerfully shifts your whole energetic and biological landscape away from a singular focus on the illness or the pain. What's truly fascinating here is the sheer power of this forward-looking purpose in overcoming present suffering. It literally reorients your entire system towards growth, vitality, actualizing your potential, making healing almost an inevitable byproduct of that alignment.
So what does this mean for you, the listener, if you're feeling stuck in a cycle of pain or illness, maybe feeling overwhelmed? Beckwith's actionable steps include asking yourself a really profound question. What is life trying to birth through me? And also creating a vision board that vividly represents your best, healthiest self. How do you ignite this powerful, pulling vision when you're feeling weighed down by suffering?
It really begins with a fundamental shift in where you place your attention. When you're consumed by pain, it's so easy to become, well, a victim of the circumstances. Asking, what is life trying to birth through me, immediately shifts your perspective from dwelling on what is to envisioning what could be. A vision board is a powerful, concrete tool for this. It visually represents your desired future, giving your mind a clear, compelling, positive direction to move towards. This conscious redirection of attention and energy, even when it feels difficult, helps activate your body's natural drive towards growth and healing. It allows that inspiring vision to truly start to pull you forward, transforming your experience of reality.
Wow, what an incredible deep dive into this profound, often overlooked power that resides within each of us. From Joe Dispenza's neuroscientific angle to Bruce Lipton's groundbreaking epigenetics, and then the more expensive spiritual and emotional insights from Deepak Chopra, Marianne Williamson, Michael Beckwith. The overarching theme is just crystal clear. Healing isn't merely about addressing symptoms or, isolated cellular problems. It's fundamentally about our energy, our deeply held beliefs, our emotions, and ultimately our capacity to return to a state of wholeness that is really our natural birthright. This deep dive has showed us, I think, quite unequivocally, that you, the listener, truly possess this innate power within to heal.
And that really is the profound unifying takeaway from all these brilliant minds, isn't it? These diverse pioneers from their varied fields, they all converge on the same undeniable truth. Your internal world, your thoughts, beliefs, emotions, your sense of purpose significantly shapes your external reality and your physical health. So as you reflect on this deep dive, maybe consider which of these interconnected principles resonated most deeply with you. Perhaps it's a specific insight from Dispenza about rewiring your brain, or Chopra's idea of connecting to pure potential, or maybe Braden's emphasis on heartfelt emotion. How might you begin to consciously apply even one small shift in your own life, starting today, to harness this innate healing power? The journey of profound self-healing truly begins with that single conscious choice to step into your own power.